I met Drew Gibson at the Preserve this last summer, and we've stayed in contact ever since. From time to time, I would ask him a form question because my goal is to get a Disc Golf Pro Tour card, and I was stuck throwing around the 400 to 430 foot mark because of my form. As the offseason snuck up on me, I was messaging Drew and basically just asked him how much it would cost for me to fly out to him and spend 5 days where he just basically gave me a backhand boot camp. It was a lot, but I thought that it would really further my career goals both here on YouTube as well as in professional disc golf. Now, all this happened 3 days before I actually flew out to him in Arizona. I'm giving a lot of this backstory because these past 6 weeks have kind of been insane for me, and so this series that I thought I would get out over the course of 1 week has been stretched into about 3 weeks because I just haven't been able to edit it to the quality that I want to be able to get it to you guys. And that's meant that I've had to wait until I got home, where now I'll be able to get these next 3 videos up to you in 3 days and do much more daily content throughout a lot of the off season. It also means that my website is back live, so if you want to pick up any Shattered Van 2.0, Cash Dash, or Banana Club discs, go ahead and do that. There will be some discount codes linked in the description. But when I got into town with Drew, we immediately spent an hour to just break down my form.
You're forward, your head's tilted, your shoulders are out like a pitch.
Which was the first video in this series, and I think is one of the best 4 masterclasses on YouTube. Obviously a little bias on that. And then we spent the rest of that day in a field and then in his garage where there was a net and some turf, trying to iron out a lot of footwork issues, which proved to be the main problem with a lot of my form. And it helped us be really confident moving into our first full day of training that we could take the form that had already changed so much from when I got there into the field. Now you can see what happened in that video, which is the 3rd episode. I did throw further than I ever have before. I learned a lot throughout that whole day, but it kind of hindered what the rest of our week could have looked like, especially the next day. And it made both Drew and I think that 500 feet during this week when I was being coached with him was completely off the table, even though we knew that that was going to be a long shot from the start. Now that 3rd day, which is the last video that we've posted in the series, episode 4, had to be a lot slower. We did take it to a course to try some things out and kind of see what stuck. That went good for like 12 holes, but that round is actually on Drew's channel. But then the rest of that day, we started working on a lot of form things into the night, trying to figure out how to get my hips to fire with my shoulders or ahead of my shoulders was how I had to think about it, instead of my arm just pulling the disc before my hips even got fully engaged. I spent a lot of time on and off in his garage, which you can watch during that video, and there were a lot of epiphanies that happened, but I ended up bringing him some form at the end of the night, and he said this.
Like, yes. Tomorrow and Friday, like if this is what you bring to the field or the course, like that, I think 500 is back on the table.
I went to bed cautiously excited about that being back on the table, but no matter what, I knew that the main thing that day 4 would focus on, which is this video, episode 5, would be making sure that the beautiful form that I was creating in the garage would transfer into the field and then onto the course.
Oh, what do you know?
And I found one cue that I'm really starting to think a lot more about as I take this past this week that I spent with Drew. Because tomorrow's video, we're actually going to go to a course that used to be on the Pro Tour and kind of see how everything sticks. And then Monday's video is going to be the finale of the Backhand Bootcamp series, bridging the gap between that and my off-season series that I'd already started before I even thought that this was a possibility, explaining what I'm going to be focusing on during the off-season and answering the question, can I throw 500 feet? Day 4. Let's see if we can throw far today. Last night, at the very end, we were trying to figure out how I flip my hips before I throw up my upper body, and did it a couple times, pretty decent. Just needs to get the off arm out of the way, so we'll be working on those 2 things today. I think it will be important to get to a course at least at some point to make sure the throws are translating onto the course. It's basically going to be today or tomorrow morning that we try 5, but if we're not there, it doesn't matter. Everything is coming together that it will be there, hopefully no question, within a couple months. Morning, Drewski.
Morning.
This dog is obsessed with these shoes. Look at this. I guess they smell really bad or something, but...
He's a weird guy, but he's my dog, so what do you know?
All right, Drew's kind of dumb. He left this really nice truck right by where I'm throwing. Hopefully, we don't hit it. My shoulder this morning feels significantly better than it did yesterday. Today, it's just about getting the feel back. It's kind of crazy how much we've been able to get done in 2.5 days. Has that really been it? Today's Thursday, yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Holy crap. I was feeling my knees over my toes, like on the balls of my feet, because like I can still balance knee over toe here. And I'm like, I felt like I'm ready to move. And so staying here, getting here, punching through, but not behind my body, not like sliding this out, but instead driving off of it. The knee needs to be like up here when the disc is like here. We have one good look, I'll remind you guys from yesterday, almost perfect. Get onto the balls of my feet. You can see my foot is planted before I'm fully extended. I'm still a little curled, which I really like. Extend fully. Off arm comes in a way that's not hindering, but you can see the disc is kind of like by the off arm. It's still out, so it's not gonna hit it. But the hips fired first, and then we swing forward and we end kind of 90 degrees away from the target, which is like kind of my feel to know that I like hit the shot correctly. So I'm just gonna throw a little bit Try to feel good. Obviously, we can still work on like tipping the disc and getting it to stay back here so it rips through a lot easier. Honestly, I think I've been thinking here. I think I might need to think about getting it to be here, because then it's really just coming through my core.
I think that it looks pretty good.
Feels good.
Do you think it's like similar as yesterday?
Feeling good. I was thinking about keeping my shoulder internally rotated, but lower to really rip through instead of, because I think higher internally rotated, it's like, it feels like that, back to the very first thing we talked about with pitching the hips in that first like Drew Roast My Form for an Hour video, is the hips are moving down here. And so they're angled this way. And so I should be here, but I've been trying to get to here, which changes the angle of the hips. I think I need to think about the off arm though, because that is like the main hindrance. Feels low to high, feels very low to high. I feel like my head feels a little forward, and then I have to start pulling it. That's better though. Let's really get into that like forward almost deadlift position. Stride out. I felt like I use the hips a little bit better. More pressure on the back foot, more time on it. Don't let the off arm come up so much, because I let it come. Just let it kind of swing. Maybe not like behind me, but oh, felt good. Nice hat.
Thanks. And we're from the Superstar. You gotta wear a Superstar hat.
Where I'm getting to here before, like as my foot gets down, is really good. And there were a couple where like it didn't even tip past flat, which is nice. It still, I think, gets to that point because it is still like an early pull.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to like really dial in that feel of.
Like last night, you were like pretty far ahead of schedule, like with the hips.
I think that one felt better. I think I noticed that when I do that, which is like when it comes back early, it like still goes forward through, but I feel when that like slips in the back, I think it's showing that like I moved the weight over from this foot too early. And so like it just glided over the foot instead of staying in the foot and transitioning forward.
Yeah, you shouldn't ever really be slipping. Like I could go play in these and not slip.
Luckily I'm slipping on my back foot now instead of my front foot, which is a better place to be slipping than when I got here.
Just watching it through here, like in real time, it like just looks so good. You know, it's like too fast to even like be able to see. Yeah, man, I think that even where we were last night till now, it's like a lot better.
A lot of it stayed, which is good. You're always worried you're gonna wake up in the morning and just like revert back. My knee is not over my toe enough. Yeah. And that's why like there's that little slip. I actually like this turf because it's like not the grippiest turf, so let me slip easy.
Yeah, and it's a little long, so like kind of is like indicative of like what a golf course would be. Like.
Yeah. I think that one felt really good.
A little long, but that's like a perfect position. And your feet are kind of the other way now. That's how I know you're long too.
Yeah. Yeah, a little long and a little forward.
Yeah. The off arm's still a little. I think there was a different, like maybe more towards the middle. There was one that was like really good. That's better.
Yeah, that was the one right before.
Yeah.
I think you just got to remember the toe. Like.
I think it's just you thinking about like these bends, like bend, and then like balls of your feet, and then automatically it puts you in like this like athletic position. I need whatever lens you have because this thing, like it's like I can't hold it far enough to be away from me.
I felt like I got most things into that disc.
Yeah, I like kind of looking through the camera because it helps me see it better for some reason.
Well, that's what you're used to watching.
Yeah, that looked pro.
That one felt different, and it felt like I was earlier around my hips than I expected to be.
Like you were more belt buckle to the target?
Yeah, like this came out of my hand and I was like, I'm forward way more than I expected to be right now. All these last three I've been is just thinking about shortening up my step.
Yeah.
Again, because like I'm not nearly as long as I was, but I was a little longer than we probably want me to be, so.
That's a lot better. That's where it gets a little funky right there, but I think it's just like part of the angle.
Yeah.
You know, like it looks like you're like this, but really I don't think you. I think it's just the angle. Like I think that back knee needs to drive more than like be out like that. Like you kind of like looks like you were like like hipping it, if that makes sense. Yeah, your cues are different than mine, so like
100%.
It's something that you kind of have to work through as well because it's like that was short. There's a point where like you know you see some of my throws and I'm definitely like out here.
Yeah.
But again, when I'm out there, my feet are still like. My hips are still engaged. Like when you get long, you start to like degrade the throw.
Yeah.
So I can get, or Simon or whoever can get longer, and it's like we're still in the right positions. It's just a little more length, I guess you could say. That was good.
I'll feel better.
I think I said we need to exaggerate those like bend feels. You know, because like even in golf, right? If I go like this, you're never gonna be able to hit the ground. Yeah. I think that then you find a happy medium, but like you joked about in the video yesterday, it's easier to go shorter than it is to go further. Yeah. You know, so I think we like get you to a point, and then you can like make those little micro adjustments to like exactly where you need to be. Do you feel like that's fast? I feel like it's not fast.
I don't feel like it's faster.
But again, we're not only trying to do fast.
Yeah.
We're trying to do fast and good. Just because it doesn't seem like 1 mile an hour faster doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong.
Do you ever think about this, like, as you're moving your hips?
And what term?
Like clearing it. Like I've heard Aaron Goss talk about clearing this front hip. Like getting here and then clearing the hip.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing as like what driving that knee would do.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't clear this without doing that.
Yes.
So like if that's the thought that makes the front hip like the valuable one.
Yeah.
But either way,
it's about getting the hips forward.
Just the belt buckle to the target. However you need to like process that is fine with me. It just there you go. That like seems good.
Yeah, not when I'm thinking about clearing this hip.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, maybe your cues are just like
exactly.
That seems quick.
Yeah.
And like it came out like flat right into the middle of that thing. So that's also like sometimes I feel like it's like hitting the net like this or like this. Yeah. You know, and it's like that one was like right in the middle, right dead flat.
I think I'm getting tired from this set so far.
You know, a little spread, but like that's really, and then right here it like comes close to your body and like pulls through versus like being out and around or in a bad position. Like even though your arm was a little in the way, like your left arm, it's still like you got to that position somehow. Some of the throws we saw a couple days ago, it's like that left arm was in a bad position, but your right arm was beating it to that position. So it was able to get there. Then this left arm kind of intruded, but the other arm was already like there. Like that's like perfect. Like if you screenshot that, like that's like.
And then this arm comes in and beats it, but.
Yeah, it made it go high. You could see your body's like trying to not let it just smash into your left arm.
The hips I think look better though.
Yeah, everything about that is like.
Like my foot's off the ground here.
Yeah, and then your hips are like the disc is still in your hand. Now look at, I mean, we could see your butthole. We need to get it like to the position where you're almost back upright. And the disc is fine.
Oh, this is where the really good ones start, I think. Like at least hip wise.
And your feet are good there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's way more forward.
Yeah, now we gotta get that. This is like nitpicky.
Yeah.
But I don't like it when you go here and then you like spread out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're like going like this and then you're like, your leg and your arm both like went.
Yes.
Like you're flying. But again, that's inadvertently slowing you down because it's so close to the throw that like that's already starting to go out.
Yeah.
Which think about it, like if you go like this, right, and then you go here, it's gonna pull you that way.
Yeah.
So you're losing forward momentum by having these things kind of like start sprawling out.
Cool.
You wanna go get some fuel and then
fuel the field. All right, good session in the garage. Feel like we're trying to start to figure something out, but again, like it's not gonna happen immediately. I don't even know if it'll really happen today. It's hard to think like there's an end date, which is tomorrow. I'm flying out of here in like 27 hours, but that's not the end date of my off season. It's just the end date of my time here, and I'll have all this knowledge and understanding to move into the rest of the off season. So it's definitely not a loss no matter what happens, but I think I should be throwing decent today. We'll see. What are we thinking for today? Food? Field? I mean, obviously not being in the field for that long because it's also 100 degrees out like every day.
field, And then I want to see where you're at. We're at the point, I think I said this probably in the last video, that like you have the knowledge, we need to figure out how to get you to implement it. So I think that these today, then half of yesterday, or quarter of tomorrow, sorry, we need to focus on just you getting the right cues to implement the correct thing. That way when I'm not here, you're able to diagnose with the feel and then a little bit of video and like actually get to the next level. You were going to do this form journey regardless. So hopefully I was able to help you, or am helping you, of course. And then you can use those tools and skills to then be better. From our last field session, your last throw was like 460. And then I feel like we've only improved since we've been in the garage. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see 460 plus some improvement. I suggested yesterday we make sure we're using the right discs.
Yeah.
I think Anthony was kind of just, we're throwing whatever.
I only brought the good disc today.
Okay. But it's like, he was throwing like a Terra, which like, if our goal is 500 feet, we want to really see good form. It's like throwing a disc that only should go left isn't the best way to like see it. So hopefully today we have, a stack of like 10 discs that all he knows what they do. He's comfortable with them. And we can get the flight out of them that we want. And I also told him like, if it is more stable, like I want you to consciously like rip it over, because I don't want us to just throw every disc on the same line and they all fly different. Then we have 10 different flights and we don't even really know what's going on. Where do you think we are?
What was really helpful for me was seeing how much the changes have stuck on the things that we really, really drilled down for the first. I mean, I was out there today and I was like, holy crap, we've only been doing this for 2.5 days.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like it's been a lifetime because we've been like, it's been all that we're focused on pretty much, but it's only been 2.5 days. And like, I did have to correct my feet a little bit today, but like, they weren't in a position that was like nearly as bad when it was a bad position. It was an easy fix. I feel those last 3 or 4 things that we talked about in the last couple of videos that are like, yeah, like those need to get fixed, that like I have an understanding of like how to do it now. Yeah. And at this point, it's just like finding the cues to like make my stupid brain work my stupid body in the way that is actually going to look correct. And so like me thinking about clearing that front hip, kind of like what Gossage talked about, for some reason helped me like drive that knee forward. And obviously now there's like some different follow through things that we'll be working on, but I feel good. I still like, I don't know if 500 is on the table for the end of this week, but I know that like everything that we're putting in now, 500 is like, if I'm not at 500 in 2 months, then like I didn't do any work.
Yeah. No, I mean we're already, in my opinion, less than 10% away.
Yeah.
So now it's just you adding that extra percentage, but also like for all you guys watching this, like for one, Anthony is a very hard worker. He's very dedicated to this, and like he's also new to disc golf. So a lot of his bad habits aren't totally ingrained yet. Mm-hmm. So like when you're going through a form change or trying to change something, you've been throwing for 15 years maybe like that, it's going to be very hard for you to like change what you're doing. So don't watch this series and think, oh, I'm just going to go and work on it for 2 days and like have a whole new form. Because I mean, from when you came here to like the video I posted yesterday, your video was incredibly, like your form had incredibly improved. And like even the people in the comments like, oh, it's so much better, like, and I know sometimes you don't totally feel it, but like it is there and people are noticing.
Yeah.
But like you guys need to realize that like the amount of time and effort and energy that he's put in, even just this week, has been like pretty astounding to me. Like I would be sore and falling apart. But also Anthony makes fun of how I walk, so. But yeah, you guys, I just want you guys to like get the most out of me helping Anthony, but also like understand that like if you're learning at a slower pace or other things are struggling, that like that's also normal. Like, we've been working on this off-arm thing every day since he's been here, and it's still like
super jacked.
The biggest problem we're having.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not discouraged by it because he's still even new to the game by all terms.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this for a couple of days. Like, I don't care who you are, what you're learning, you're not going to just be an expert in a couple of days. So stick with it. I know it's hard. I know changing your form or having good form or whatever is like goals, but like it is a very hard thing to do. If it was easy, everyone would just have perfect form and they would throw 500 feet and whatever. So like this goal we're trying to hit is actually like not all that easy. Okay. So make sure you guys are following on this journey. And if you're listening to some of the tips and you're listening to Anthony's tips, and obviously there's going to be 5 or 6, 7 more videos of this, like you guys make sure that you are interested and engaged, but also understanding that like you have to learn in order to learn. Like you're not going to just wake up and be able to do it. So I want to thank Anthony just for trusting me enough to even be here. I know we're pretty deep into this series by now, but like I do appreciate it, and there's been very little like fight back from him about things, even if he doesn't
like
agree.
Question if I don't understand, and it's like I'll try it, and then we'll like talk it through. And
we've learned that like some of my normal teaching cues versus what works with Anthony's brain isn't actually like the best. You know, like I'm maybe explaining it in a way where it took him like 3 days and like thinking of Gossage to do it. And that's perfectly fine. But like that's what's good about him speaking up and asking questions is that I'm now better able to help him because I'm like, okay, hey, I've given you the tools, you gotta build the house. But really I didn't give him the right tools because we weren't on the same page totally. So a lot of form work or trusting anybody at any, even if it's just training you for an IT job, you gotta trust them, but also you gotta understand what they're pitching you and what they're expecting of you. So Anthony, I feel like we're working really good as a team.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting somewhere. And like you said, I mean, we've hit 460 and 470 this week, so I don't think there's any way. If you don't hit 500 between now and January, then
Yeah.
I don't even know what to tell you because we're already right on the
We're on the cusp.
we're on the freaking precipice
Yeah.
of being like you doing it today. Now, like,
Yeah.
not being consistent today.
Yeah, like I think that there's a chance that I do it today, but like I will not be disappointed if I don't do it today. But I'm like, I think that there's one throw in the garage that if I have the right disc and I throw on the right angle, it goes 500 feet.
Well, and I think that's the other thing. I think you've thrown like that strike a few times where if that was an actual distance driver, it would have been 500 feet because
Yeah.
you threw it 450.
Yeah.
So it's like a distance driver, going 50 more feet isn't unreasonable. So I think we've got the form and the throw to do 500 already. I just don't think that we've like connected that with the correct disc and the correct height and the correct wind. Like we've done 500 feet worth of speed and power. We just haven't done 500 feet worth of speed, power, and the correct disc,
Yeah.
the correct line.
And I think what's really good about that is the 400 feet now is like, I throw a bad shot and it goes 400 feet now, where before, like, it wasn't really happening or like goes in that range. And that is going to mean that if I'm trying to throw that, it's going to take a much lower percentage. So even if I do go play this tournament next week, like I can throw easier and like I don't have to think like, oh, I have to throw 500 feet because I might not have it for like a tournament setting yet, but I'll have 400 a lot easier that I can just go out there and like lace 400 foot shots at New London instead of worrying about the 500. And I'm probably not losing strokes to more than like 3 people who are throwing actual 500 foot shots down those tunnels.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, driving down a racetrack at 1 mile an hour is easier than driving around a racetrack at 150 miles an hour. So if you just equate that to his percentage of his throw, it's easier to throw 40% than it is 80, and it's easier to throw 60 than it is 80, and it's easier to throw 70 than it is 80. So if we're just getting him lower end distance in the bottom of his percentages to where his 100% used to be, we're going to minimize mistakes, we're going to minimize bad shots, we're going to minimize it being crooked and the form being bad, which at the root of this, the reason his form was bad is because of the body positions he was in. So if we can make his body work less hard, then it's going to be in better positions, because what happens is the more you stress yourself, the more you strain yourself, the more you're trying, the more the form degrades. Even at if you told me throw 100% 10 times in a row, by the 10th one, my form is going to be getting a little beat up. So the more we can keep him on track with, again, even these gains we're getting, which, we have gained, 30, 40 feet since you've been here already, and we don't even have it nearly dialed in. Like you said, if you don't get that extra 30 or 40 feet by the time we go home, by the time the season starts, then there's a whole different issue. But overall, I think we're in a good spot. I'm happy with where we're at. The progress has been very good, and Anthony's been a good sport at sticking with it and being dedicated and wanting to vastly improve, which obviously that's why he's here. But sometimes you think you want to do something and you get there and you don't. So yeah. I've gained a lot of respect for Anthony's work ethic, not only on the disc golf side, but also seeing his timeline, editing the videos. He puts a lot of time and effort into these things for you guys, and it shows. And his disc golf, he's putting a lot of time and effort into it, and that's going to show for him. So huge shout out to Anthony. Good work, man. It's been a fun journey, and we're going to get Anthony where he needs to go.
Alrighty, warm me up, peace.
500 pretty much to the tree. If you throw 500 right now in this session, I'm going to go home and take a nap. You feel the glitch really good. Oh, someone commented that on my video.
Yeah?
Who's a better glitch throw out of you two? And I said, me by 2 miles. That would be a fun video to film. Go play Ironwood, glitch only. We should do it.
Yeah. Frisbee boys.
Frisbee boys?
Good start, good start.
Groundhog's Day.
Okay. There are some angles. There aren't angles if we once. Oh. That was good.
Yeah, that had some good. Yeah. There we go. That was kind of ripped.
That was fine.
I think that was kind of long.
Okay. Ooh. I think a little more bend at the hips and that's fine.
Yeah, and I think a little more like knees over the toes too.
Okay.
Oh, we need to get all those hinges like a little more
Over.
hingy, yeah. There we go. Oh!
That was pretty far.
Dude!
That was pretty good.
Hey, what disc was that?
Like it's like a disc that I think is like a beat-in destroyer, I think.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. This apple makes them.
Leave that in the video.
Yeah, dude, that interval shot was really, that felt right.
I mean, that tree right there
Yeah.
was 515.
It could be 500.
It could be.
And the wind isn't helping either because it's a right to left
It was
cross.
hurting, yeah. Just
Yeah.
going forward, no matter where this goes, before every throw, we need to think about those like hinges.
No, I'm pumped. I mean, none of these throws are bad again. Dude, that throw is pretty far. I don't think it's gonna be 5, but it's gonna be far. I say we throw there and back one more time. Probably won't do us too much good to be out here after that.
I agree. Yeah, I want to see you throw a couple more like actual good ones. For how bad it was looking, these aren't really that bad.
No, there's still 400 feet.
And they're all clumped together like.
I mean, this destroyer is 430, that one too. So we're thinking about leaning back because I feel like my problem is we get out to the field and I get long again. But I think leaning back helps me stay over the weight over his back foot more. And then leaning back and then clearing that hip. Those are the thoughts. 455 was the number. But for throwing 4 shots and then throwing all those and peeking around the 450, it's pretty good.
Yeah, we have that feel in the garage easy.
Yeah.
Every time. So we got to get that feel.
You get out here and I'm like, oh, let me see if I can actually throw him
Yeah.
500 and I start to lengthen.
Yeah.
So lean back.
But that's a good thing for you to feel though, that the harder you try, the shorter it goes. As dumb as that is to say.
No,
like,
100%.
you know, like, hey, I'm going to try really hard. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just like I said in golf, you know, the harder you swing, it doesn't mean it's going to go further.
I'm just using these putters to try to get a feel.
That seemed good. Okay.
It's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Strike.
Take your time.
I noticed my breath was fast.
Yeah.
I'm slowing down my breath real fast. Over, over, over. Lean back. Because when I lean back, I'm in the middle like a dummy.
Oh, there we go. It's definitely no 500, but that's like, that's where we need to start building from. Is like that, make that be like the normal.
Yeah.
And then when you really get on it, then it's an extra 20, 30, 40 feet. Yes, that was good.
Yeah, these are also feeling easier too, which is
Yeah.
good.
These are like so much better.
Yeah.
I was kind of ripped. And again, to really throw with where you're at, 500 feet, we're needing like a distance line. You're throwing like, this is a golf shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you're getting these 450, 460 golf shot, like that's really, really good.
And like again, it's like goes back to that thing where it's like, I know that I have more strength and athleticism to give it, but I can't with good form.
Yeah.
Like the skill has to be perfected before I can increase the
Yeah,
speed.
and that's why like we get out to the field and you always like revert back to like just like big and open,
Yeah.
and it's like that's just not gonna like yield the result we want. Come on, swing, 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 swing.
That's like similar to that interval.
Yeah, and that's like it. I mean, damn near in that shade, which is 460. Uh-oh. You okay?
Yeah.
I still got out there.
It's pretty good. Throw them, well, grab everything and throw them back.
Yeah.
They're in the right distance classes this time. Like the interval that I slipped on is just a bit farther than both the fairways I threw. And then all the drivers are here. I do think, like I've always noticed for me personally, I throw better at a course than a field.
470 to the,
So 445?
yeah.
Yeah, and they were all in that 420 to 430 range.
Yeah.
I think it's also like helpful to have like a point to like drive toward. with your body, like having a basket or like an aim point.
Yeah.
Because here it's like, yeah, I'm kind of aiming, but it also like kind of doesn't matter where it goes.
I don't like field work personally. I'd rather take you to a 500-foot hole and we just make you throw until you're fucking in circle 1.
Yeah, I agree.
That pink one was freaking blitzed.
Yeah, that pink one is past the back. I mean, it's probably 460.
Yeah, it's 470 to there, so.
455
450,
or
yeah.
450, yeah.
And again, you're obviously not trying as hard.
No. And I also like, the more I've thrown, like you get tired, and I am still sore.
Well,
like,
and I could tell like the first time you threw there and back, there was like really none like way left.
Yeah.
Then there was left, in here there was way left. So it's like I could tell when you're tired.
Good stopping point. But I mean, I think every single time I throw one at least 450 or 440.
Yeah.
Win. I think the other really big win is like none of the lines that I was throwing were like distance lines. Because I don't think I can throw a distance line like this yet.
Yeah. I hadn't played with you much, but you know, you were kind of saying 400, 420, 430, like ripping it.
Yeah, 400 is like where I was like, I could probably throw a golf line there.
Yeah. And so now we're getting you to golf lines at 450, you know, 1 or 2 out of every set of, you know, really like 6 drives. So I mean, we're now at 30% 450, you know. So I mean, that's theoretically 50 feet we've added.
Yeah.
And that's like not very much like work in the sense of like how much we're actually doing and how much time you've had to like perfect it, because like I said, we're in the garage and
we're on day 3.
Yeah, and we're looking at this form in the garage and we're like clapping our hands of excitement, but then we get out there and it's like not the same. So it's like you're capable of doing it and there's just some little thing in your head that's telling you, oh, we're out here now, try this, or oh, we're, you know, like you're forgetting some of your cues. And part of that,
and maybe I need different cues to like do it on the garage versus out in the actual.
Yeah, and that's why I keep trying to like get you to be like, hey, okay, what's the cue here? Like what door hinge, you know, whatever it is. Like we need to have like a cue that gets you. Maybe we need to make like a 3-part cue, like the door hinge swings.
Yeah.
You know, it's where like you think, okay, door hinge swinging, and then you get your hips and your everything in the right place, but also you're like then swinging your body versus like pulling it.
Yeah.
So we're really close. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if today we relax, edit up a video, chill, and then get some like more stuff out there.
Yeah.
And go to the course and dial it in on a hole where like you can barely reach, or you know, like that one downhill par 5, it's like 530.
Yeah.
But it's like make our goal to be, hey, we want to be in circle 2.
Circle 2. Or
you know,
one,
like, and then that's the thing too, because it's like I care more about you like hitting the fairway, throwing it 460, than I care about you throwing it crooked as crap, throwing 500.
Yeah, and like that's the thing too, is like everyone says you need 500 on the tour, which I think is true, and it will come. But like if I can show up next week able to throw 430 golf lines whenever I want to, that's much better than throwing 390 golf lines like at a course like this.
Again, we've talked about it this whole entire like series, is like just we need Anthony to be in a position where he could then ramp it up.
Yep.
Because right now he's in a position where to go 400 or 430, he has to like really rip it, and there's no ramping up from there. So we need 430 with the opportunity to ramp up to that 450, 460 that we've been already seeing you accomplish. So we're not even like, I'm not expecting something that I literally haven't watched you do 4 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like I just watched you throw 7 shots over 450 feet.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm just expecting us to now find a way to like hone that in the sense of like making it easier for you to execute that.
And like anything, the more consistent you become at that, the easier it is to get to the higher distances. Because like, oh, if that's second nature, then like, if that becomes second nature, then it's gonna feel easier. So you feel like you can push it more with the right form.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're just trying to build a foundation.
Yeah.
You know, we bought Anthony's house and we like tore it down, and then now we're like just building it back up like the correct way. Yeah. You know, some of his other homemade projects didn't pass code. So, but yeah, I mean, we're on a good start. I know that sometimes this can be discouraging, especially for this guy who's gets a little upset at times. But overall, I mean, anyone that watches the before and after, even today, like everyone, you know, on my video, you know, people are commenting, oh my gosh, the whole, like, they see it, you know, I see it. You maybe aren't seeing it because you're having to feel it. Yeah. But, you know, we're getting there, we're making good progress, and we're going to get back, you know, relax for a while. It's freaking pretty hot here. So we're going to chill for a while, and then we're going to go play, maybe even do a little glitch challenge for you guys. Yeah. But since I edit it, it'll be out in 28 minutes. So this video will come out way after the glitch challenge. Yeah.
So I took a couple hours off and just like honestly chilled, and we're gonna go and play a glitch only round, which will be fun, and do some like training on a couple 500-ish foot holes. I was thinking that like, in talking with Drew about it, I just get more work done on the course and in the field. at least I feel, because I have two different goals. In the field, my goal is to throw it as hard as I possibly can. On the course, my goal is to get to the target as easily as I can, or at least with like a controlled amount of effort. And so going to the course, we might be able to actually ramp up the distance because I'm also punching through towards something. Not exactly sure, but at the end of the day, you can't fix everything in 3 days. And I'm stoked with being able to throw around 450 more consistently. Hopefully that's gonna be something that keeps up. Just like a 520-foot hole, we'll try to get it in circle 1, circle 2, slightly downhill. It's just about being able to actually play disc golf better and have something to build on for the rest of this off season, because my ability to throw and my form is like ahead of what we expected here. It's ahead of what you'd expect for someone playing for a year and 8 months. And obviously, like, I wanna push. I don't care if it's like ahead of where it should be. I know that it can be even further. But there is a point where you need to like stop and be grateful for where I'm at, and obviously continue working at it, but not with like crazy ridiculous expectations. So we're gonna go throw there, have a lot of fun, and then do a glitch only battle on his channel, which I'm stoked for. It's probably gonna be out like 5 days before this video. Gonna warm up and then just make sure that we're feeling the hips going first. Even just like a low to high movement. I might think a little bit about my off arm, just keeping that away. I think that'll basically be it. I mean, you have any thoughts that you want me to be thinking about or just like remind me of for right now?
Oh, I think we need to like door hinge.
Yeah.
And then
I think more deadlift than door hinge. I thought that was just funny though.
oh, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
totally.
you think when you think
Knees
of that.
over toes.
Yeah, and then like keeping that weight back a little bit.
Yeah.
So back and then knees over toes. I
Yep.
think that from there we have a good understanding. We got a geek on our hands here.
Yeah, this tripod's just about as much as Drew's winnings from the DGPT this year.
Yeah. Besides, I got like third in Vegas, so.
Is that expensive? All right, let's ace it, baby. Just hit a tree and then stay over there forever. I feel like that is wider than a lot of what we've looked at, but it felt like a good width for me.
Yeah,
like
no,
in my
and
feel.
that's why I was like explaining to you, like,
Yeah.
I can't pick your width. Like, you have
Yeah.
to like feel it. But then there is a point where like no matter how it feels, it can be too wide.
Yes, 100%. Feels like it's going fast.
Yeah, man, that's like a rip with that disc.
And they're all like going right down the middle.
Yeah, they're like what we want. Like that's hitting a fairway. Yeah,
That's a good disc for me, dude.
it is. You need more finish line discs in your bag.
Heard the owners, and nah, I made that joke too many times.
You're really good at abusing jokes.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
That's like one of your strong suits.
Well, the problem is you just never know when you want to put it into the edit, because I'm not going to put it in every time.
Well, you don't think it's annoying that you say it every time?
Is it annoying? Is it
No,
annoying?
but
Okay, then it's not annoying.
if you have to stop yourself from
Then
saying it,
shut up, Drew.
you're annoying yourself with it.
Yeah, that's true. No, I just think I'm annoying you, and you said it was not, so I'm just
No,
going to keep
I don't
using it.
care. This is
Yeah.
America. You have freedom of speech.
I appreciate that, bro. Yeah, I think that thing is just like, that's like almost a roller disc.
What do you think?
It's good. Middle of that hill up there. I mean, it's not circle 2, but it's close. I mean, it's far. I feel like that feels like a 430 golf line really easily.
That's what we want.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well, good rip there, pal.
No. Just trying too hard with my arm on that one. I felt it.
Yeah,
Like,
when
one of
that
it.
happens, it's just this.
Yeah.
Like that, you can't use your body and have it like come out like going like right like that. Really. I don't know if you're a little faster. You're like overturning it. Like I don't. There we go.
Yeah.
That was nice.
That was really good.
That like coming back down the hill here is gonna be like right in this area.
Because they're also throwing in a headwind.
You're going uphill into a headwind. Those are the only distance drivers you should throw.
Yeah,
Not
I
because I
think-
own the company,
I think that purple one's like staying in my bag for sure.
but because you actually like.
And if Marcus wants to give me disc and pizza, I'll take a couple more. I think that purple interval is like the best disc in my bag right now.
I feel like you've just thrown it like dead straight the furthest every time. Every time I walk down the fairway, it's like, oh, hey, look.
They only call it 390 to the sign.
Yeah, it's uphill into the wind. I mean,
True.
So
I think the beauty is like these little touch shots are coming out so easily.
when I was telling you before, like that's what like translates is like I could stand here and like just the lower your percentage gets everywhere, the
Yeah.
easier it's going to be everywhere. Yeah, look at that.
It's the easiest shot in the world.
Yeah. Now.
All right, this one's 513 feet. It's like past the teepa we just played. We're just basically playing back. 472.
Okay, so that should be like our goal.
Yeah.
Like, as close to
Just
that.
get to the tee pad. Load high. Good thing it's not busy.
Oh, what do you know? Arrow right in the middle.
Every time, baby. Just behind the glitch.
Best glitch throw in the world.
We'll see about that.
I really like that. I know that you might not,
Mhm.
but like, 10 feet higher, like we're still trying to get the angles and like the,
Yeah, 100%.
but like I like that zippy like turn, like gets kind of like a Calvin Heimberg flight, or it
Yes.
just gets out there and like gets on the line.
Yeah.
There we go. I think it might have been a little long,
Mhm.
like it just kind of by the looks of it, but it also went right down the middle of Broadway, so.
Get off the tree. Okay. That one's turning more
It
than I
might have went
expected
pretty
it
good. That was good.
That's fun.
That's
I don't-
probably 460, 450.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I'm going to be throwing crazy far right now anyways. Just, end of the day, you're sore. The throws are good.
The like consistency level of like your releases and like your angles
Yeah.
and your height and all that is like much better. Cause I remember in that field the first day you were like going kind of all over the place. And even like yesterday, you like kind of throw one in the road and then we'll do that, and then go left. But
See, I actually like the feel of that one, not the flight of it, but I like the feel of
yeah,
that
because you're like getting around it. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of moving through the disc, and it's powerful when you pull it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like perfect. We went from having one goal that we both realized it isn't going to happen to like now we realize like you have the tools. We need to just like, you need to ramp it up, and I don't even think it's getting stronger. I think it's just like getting your body used
more
to like,
comfortable.
speed training at this.
And not being sore right here from this first day that we did
Yeah.
stuff, so.
You're still a little sore?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it came along the more I threw, because the muscles are like, oh, there's still a little bit of like
Yeah.
that tissue stuff there, but.
I think you just throw a glitch, an era, an envy, a strike, and the interval, and you just scrap all the rest of this crap.
I'm thinking, or I have been thinking a little bit about distance and just like not setting myself up to be able to throw far at all. Like, I'm making myself too sore and then just like too focused on it. I might be able to just like take 2 days off, come back, and throw farther than we did today.
Yeah, no, I mean,
You know,
and
like-
that's why I was like, literally, I remember on the drive, I picked you up, you'd never thrown a disc yet, and I told you, like,
Yeah.
I want to work on your percentages, not your actual distance.
100%. Yep.
Like, and that's still like,
That's what's happened.
I was going along with your plan because, this is partly your thing, but a lot of my, the first thing I told you pretty much when we got in the car is like, hey, I want your 70% to go further than your last 70%. And if that's, your 70% is now where you feel the most comfortable and that's your full throw, but now it's going 460, which it is. Now we gained 30 feet and we gained 20% more accuracy.
Yeah.
Which, what more could you really want? So, and then now, again, I've mentioned this a bunch of times, you're still like new to the game and new to understanding and all that. Like, you're gonna learn and grow as you play more and more and more. And, it's gonna just get better and better from there.